on 30 seconds until airtime. On my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Powered by Learfield, this is Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network.
Go to the pistol formation for the plus 47. There goes Jalen White again, up the numbers, 25, 20. Watch the young bull go again. Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Hail Southern Live is presented by Morris Bank. Bleed Blue, Bank Blue. Morris Bank member FDIC. Also brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. Macon Occupational Medicine. The health of your business may depend on us. And by the Savannah Airport Commission with the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's your host, the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, it is great to see you again, back once again at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro for Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, brought to you each week by Morris Bank. Eagle football off a homecoming win last Saturday. It's great to be an Eagle on a Saturday night, especially when it's on homecoming 2022, as the Eagles take down Ball State by a final score of 34-23. Georgia Southern is now 3-1 through the first third of the 2022 season. Sun Belt Conference play begins this weekend. Don't worry about the weather. The game is going to happen up in Conway. Eagles at Coastal Carolina, 9th all-time matchup between Georgia Southern and the Chanticleers. Kick it off at 4 o'clock from Brooks Stadium on Saturday. Cutwater Sears Tailgate Show will begin at 2 o'clock. And, of course, we'll talk plenty with head coach Clay Helton. And our player rep tonight, Logan Langemeier, starting center over the last 3 seasons. He will join us. If you have any questions for tonight, feel free to post those on our Facebook feed, also on Twitter @GS Sports Network. Talk a little men's soccer coming up until about 7:10. Eagle men's soccer going to be at Mercer tomorrow night, 7 o'clock kickoff up in Macon. This weekend they'll be at home for a matchup against Georgia State. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday night over at Eagle Field. This time, please welcome the head coach in year 7. Give it up for John Murphy. Murph, what's going on, my man?
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Does it feel like it's been 7 years?
No, sometimes it feels like 7 minutes. So. But it's been an amazing time here. And I was just saying off camera how much we love Wild Wings. This is probably my family's favorite restaurant. We come all the time. So it's really great to have us here. It's a great space and a great place to be. So
I know Wild Wing Cafe appreciate you saying that too.
Absolutely.
8 matches through this year, but the one theme about your team, so much change. It's 20 new guys from last year to this year. 17 of them are freshmen. So how have you been stressed a little bit, or maybe it's an opportunity, let's phrase it that way, to try to mesh all that and put a winning product on the field in what is a really tough Sun Belt conference?
Yeah, it's not easy at this level to, as I say, have on-the-job training with so many of our young kids, but you see the growth and you see the development, and success doesn't go in a linear fashion. It goes up and down. There's peaks and valleys. I thought we went to the graveyard. I thought we went to South Carolina the other day, who's an affiliate member of Sun Belt Men's Soccer, and played fantastically well, and we lost, and we're not here to legislate, try and put shine on a loss, but at the same time, too, we do have to look at a group and how they're growing and how they're developing, and there's a lot of soccer left to play, certainly within the Sun Belt, and tomorrow night will be the first game that we have our entire roster available due to injuries and suspensions and things like that. So we have to overcome it just like any team in any sport has to, and so far I'm pleased with the kids.
Yeah, in that vein, you talked before the season about having one of your captains, and Alex Smith. That was somebody you were really going to rely on. He's only played in 5 out of the 8 matches this year because of injury, but being able to say you've got the full complement going up to take on a Mercer team that's off to a really nice start this year, that's got to put you in a good spot.
Yeah, and the games with Mercer are very tight, they're very physical, and they're very open. I think the past 2-3 years, the scores have been 3-2 every single time, so that they're very open games. They're a very aggressive team. It tends to bring out aggression in us as well. So it should be a good one tomorrow night up in Macon.
When you think about all the conversation in this conference about how tough football has gotten with the addition of James Madison, Old Dominion, Southern Miss, and Marshall, well, on the soccer side, you've got West Virginia now, South Carolina now, Kentucky now. A Marshall team that, don't forget, 2 years ago won a national championship. It's a chance to show you where you are, but at the same time, it's almost like a football mentality where there are no gimmies, there are no slip-ups, because everybody's capable of beating everybody else.
No, and it falls in line with what we've done during my 7 years here. I think we're in the best region in the country for men's soccer in the Southeast, and we've always played a very aggressive non-league schedule, and where we couldn't have possibly planned for what's actually happened with Sunbelt men's soccer. It's going to end up being one of the best conferences in the country. We have prepared for this moment. We try and play the best teams we can. We play Power Fives. Obviously, the ACC is very strong. We've traditionally played several ACC teams a season. So we're prepared for that type of upgrade within our conference. And again, with these young guys getting this type of experience early on, it's only going to bode well, not only for this season, but in the future.
Having spent some time at Clemson and Boston College, a couple of ACC programs, knowing what you're going into, how does that aid in that preparation process?
Yeah, I think sometimes you have a very clear idea of what's going to happen, and sometimes that can be it can be a bit galling. That's why you really do need to take one game at a time. So we can't jump ahead. We can't be thinking about Kentucky in 2 weeks or West Virginia in 3 weeks. We really need to focus on the Mercer game tomorrow. It's a separate game from Georgia State. Georgia State's a conference game, but at the same time, what we do tomorrow night is going to set ourselves up, hopefully, for a good weekend at home against the Panthers.
In our past conversations, we've, of course, talked about the fact that you've done some soccer broadcasting. You've been on NBC Sports Network a number of times, and this is something that Tracy Ham and I have talked about as well, because he broadcasted some Georgia Southern games after he got done playing. How does knowing what that side is like from the broadcasting side, how does that help you see the game in another way?
Well, it definitely does. I think for anybody that's involved in a particular sport, it'd be football or basketball, you have to break it down further, and I'm sure the work that you have to do each week in preparation for the various events that you need to cover, there's a lot of homework, there's a lot of follow-up, and it certainly brings you into a different world. I've worked with some fantastic people on radio and TV, and to see how they prepare, and they're not coaches, they're people that are in a different part of sport like you are in the TV and radio side. It's really impressive. So I've always felt that you can learn from different people, different walks of life, and certainly different sports. And I've been fortunate enough to work with some top people in TV and radio, and I've definitely learned from them.
It's also a remarkable thing when you can be a major Division I program, but just down the street, you've got a professional program as well in the USL One with Tormenta. They've been in the process of moving into their new facility. How much does that help your program when you've got something like that in the same town?
I think it helps all of us, and I think we need to remember that the Van Tassel family, I mean, they are Statesboro people, and Darren played at Georgia Southern, played baseball, and was a professor for many years. So I think it's great for our entire community, and it's great for not only men's soccer and women's soccer, but I think all the sports. I think it really is a fantastic way of showcasing our area. We all know how special Statesboro is, and I think it's great that we have another group that can create a venue that's going to bring people to Statesboro and generate more excitement and hopefully more revenue to the downtown local businesses, the same way that Georgia Southern does. So I feel they're great partners. The coaching staff's fantastic, and I think we have a lot of professional development going back and forth. But I think a great deal of the Van Tassel family. They're really tough people, and I certainly wish them the best in this venture.
This is a pretty important year for soccer as a whole, because this is the first time that the World Cup is being played as late in the year as it is, taking place in the month of November. I think the last time we saw it, it's during the summer, and it usually is because can't miss television. But being that that's now a different part of the year, being so involved in the sport, what kind of impact do you think that's going to have on helping grow the game worldwide?
Well, yeah, I think that, if people want to, they can watch a World Cup game on Thanksgiving Day. So we have football tied into so many things in our lives in the fall and in around Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays and things like that, and that's what's actually going to happen this year. The World Cup's going to be held in Qatar, in the Middle East for the first time, and they have to play the games in the winter. They can't play in the summer; it'll be too hot. So I think it's going to open up the game to a different group of people, maybe people that have never watched soccer before. And I've stopped trying to convince people to like soccer probably about 25 years ago. But what I would say is if you're in the comfort of your own home and you have a chance in and around Thanksgiving holiday, there'll be football games on for sure, but there'll be soccer games, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for people to watch. And it's just like the Olympics. It's like any high-level event. I think people that may not be inclined to like soccer will really be impressed with the product that's out there because it's the best teams in the world.
2 matches coming up this week for Georgia Southern men's soccer. As we mentioned, tomorrow night up in Macon, taking on Mercer. That is a 7 o'clock kick. And then Saturday back at home at Eagle Field, another 7 o'clock kick. Sunbelt Conference matchup, Georgia Southern versus Georgia State. More information, you can visit gseagles.com. Murph, I always enjoy our talks. Great to visit with you. Good luck this week and good luck going forward.
Thank you.
That's head coach John Murphy from Georgia Southern men's soccer. When we come back, we'll talk some Eagle football with Clay Helton. Talk about the homecoming win. Preview Coastal after this on Hail Southern Live, brought to you by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Optum Medical Center Tatnall, we know you're not yourself when even just one part of you is hurt. Optum Medical Center Tatnall in Reedsville provides Eagle Nation with the highest quality care in surgical, hospital, clinical, diagnostic, and therapeutic services. The physician-owned medical center has been named one of America's top 100 best hospitals for joint replacement and is a 5-star recipient for total hip replacement, total knee replacement, and spinal fusion surgery. For more information, visit OptumHealthSystem.com.
Here's to the fans who show up for the game, finding their spot, staking their claim, towing the trailers, hauling the gear. A tradition of tailgating that happens each year. And here's to the truck they drive, the Ford F-150 truck. Power your tailgate like never before with an available ProPower onboard generator. For great offers, see your local Ford dealer today. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Vision, new identity, same battle cry.
Man, what a great day to be an Eagle. Mercy.
It's time to GATA.
Gerald Green outside the hash. 10, 5, bye-bye. Jalen White, welcome the young bull all the way home.
Listen to Eagles football all season on the Georgia Southern Sports Network from Learfield.
Another season of women's and men's college sports is underway. Follow your alma mater or favorite team in their pursuit of the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2023 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
On 2nd and 10 for 30. Ventries finds the one-on-one right sideline for Burgess. Oh, what a catch on the Ball State sideline. A Morris Bank first down inside the 30, down to the 26. 44-yard reception for Burgess. He just keeps churning them out week in and week out. Part of a 133-yard effort for Derwin Burgess, third career 100-yard game, second of the 2022 season, which gave Georgia Southern a 34-23 victory over Ball State on homecoming last Saturday. 3-1 going into conference play, which starts this weekend in Conway. Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina, 4 o'clock kick from Brooks Stadium. Morris Bank is the presenting sponsor for the 2022 season. Morris Bank is rooted in Eagle Nation. Most of their leadership team are Georgia Southern alumni. Bleed Blue, Bank Blue, Morris Bank, member FDIC. We do remind you, if you have any questions tonight, submit those on Facebook Live. You can also tweet us at any time at GS Sports Network. Eagle Nation, after a 3-1 start, let's talk to the head Eagle. Please welcome in head coach Clay Helton to Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Congratulations on 1-0 and congratulations on 3-1.
Well, thank you. It's been a great September. A lot of learning lessons for our football team as you go through the month of September and you win big games and you have the opportunity to really grow as a football team before conference. And I really felt like we've done that. And Saturday was a big step forward in that, in learning how to win a really close ball game with two teams playing really clean football and really doing some great situational mastery in the fourth quarter to really create separation. So proud of our football team. They played a very mature game last Saturday night.
Besides the victory, what will you remember most about your first homecoming at Paulson Stadium?
Without question, the electricity of the fans,
Amen.
The students, the alumni. Our whole staff was blown away. The power of Paulson is real. I mean, it is a weapon. It really, really is. And to have that crowd and that electricity and it just be rocking on third down. You got to think there was 2 huge third down stops for our defense where you could just feel it coming from the stands, feel that energy, feel that loudness, and we get 2 stops, one in the backed up area that created a touchdown for us, and then a huge stop by Dylan Springer on the next drive that allowed us to go into 4-minute offense and to basically make those 4 first downs, completing that big play at the end of Amari Jones.
Something that Big Frank has mentioned from the sideline multiple times, and really something that you and Kyle both said on postgame. One part is that sideline never seems to panic when you experience adversity, but the thing that you two kept saying on the Ford locker room wrap-up last week, there's trust, and those two have to work hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that whole fourth quarter was a matter of trust. You think about it's 4th and 7 about the 50-yard line, and you trust your defense in that time. You're down 23-20. You depend them deep. Anthony Beck comes in, does what he does. I mean, just pins them inside the 10-yard line. Defense gets a big 3 and out. We're able to create field position inside the 50 off their punt. And then, a huge 3rd and 8 by Amari Jones.
Yeah.
And then how about J.J. McAfee getting his first college touchdown, a really signature play of touching the pylon with the ball. And there was just so much trust, whether it was the 4th and 1, on the 35-yard line, and knowing our offensive line was really creating great push on the night and knowing that we could get it. Whether it was the trust on, 3rd and 8, to run it naked and say, hey, Kyle, if it's not there, buddy, go ahead and run, stay in bounds. We'll eat up all the clock. It'll come down to about 50 seconds. We'll punt them deep and make them go the long way with no timeouts. But if it's there, trust it and pull the trigger. And he went through his progression of short, over drag, and long deep post, and the long deep post was there, and he pulled the trigger to a guy that he really trusts. We talked about it being there all week, it could be there, and then lo and behold, on the most critical point in the game, man, that trust of quarterback to wide receiver, that was special.
it made me think back to the Nebraska game after the quarterback draw when Brian Ellis was excited like a kid on Christmas morning, and then to see the video of him showing the same kind of emotion after that pass to Amari, which helped seal the game. It's one thing for the players to do, but when the coaches feel it as well, that's special.
Well, you go into that situation and you think about it all week. Man, this could be the critical play. This could be the critical call. And then it works exactly like you want it to. Yeah. You're kind of excited as a coach. You really are. And Brian brings such great passion, and the kids feel it. They feed off of it. And he's doing a really, really nice job right now with their offense.
I want to go back to that 4th and 1 play from the 35 where Kyle has to sneak and earn the first down. It's one part where I know that Coach Ellis realizes a couple plays leading into that you may be going for it on 4th down, but it's another instance where it feels like that just snuck up. Because for that to just be there and to think, okay, you've got the lead, you don't want to give them the ball back that early, but you're not typically going to go for it in your own territory in that situation of the game. So how did you work through all that?
Well, I think every team that you play is different in how the feel of the game is going. And with this team that we were competing against, I mean, that running back steal is a major factor in 4-minute offense. And you're looking at that situation going, okay, we've got the opportunity to end this football game and not give it back. Yeah. We knew there was 5:56 left on the clock. They had 2 timeouts. Time chart says you got to make 4 first downs. That was the second first down that we had. And then Jalen White comes in. He makes a 10-yard run. That's the 3rd one. And then you get the naked for the big play for the 4th one, and that ends the game. And so we're always going to trust our kids. We're always going to play aggressive. That's just our nature as players and as this coaching staff. And we trusted our kids in that situation. It may not be every time like that. The game may be going a different way. Maybe our defense is totally controlling the situation, and we give it to them to go win the game. But in that situation, felt so good about our offensive line and what they were doing in the run game. Just felt like we could pick up a couple inches.
One more question before we take our next timeout. College football has become a really fast game. Offenses want to take as many snaps as they can, as many yards as they can. It seems every 12 to 15 seconds another snap is occurring. As you're trying to evaluate the game when it's going that fast and things are spinning that much more quickly, how much more do you have to rely on your preparation to help you during that process?
Well, it's so great as a head coach to have the coordinators that we have. When you talk about Will Harris, Brian Ellis, and Turner West, it allows me to do my job as a head coach, which is be 3 plays ahead and manage the game rather than managing the next play call. Yeah. I think a lot of times and you see it's even at the highest level in the NFL that a head coach is a play caller, and then all of a sudden, a situational mastery phase comes up and it's maybe the wrong decision. So it's great to have a trust in our coordinators to be able to give suggestions during timeouts or during the end of the series. But while the series is going on, being able to manage exactly what we need to do to be able to put our kids in the best situation to win a game.
Coming up a little bit later on in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live, we'll visit with center Logan Langemeier, but we take this time out. We'll talk more with head coach Clay Helton about the homecoming victory last Saturday against Ball State. Look ahead to the start of conference play this weekend against Coastal Carolina. This is Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe right here in Statesboro. Brought to you by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Hey Eagle Nation, it's Stacy Underwood from Uncle Shook's Barbecue Place at 434 South Main Street right here in Statesboro. We're proud to be a partner of Georgia Southern football in this new era and want to wish Coach Helton luck in his first year. Remember, game day isn't complete without some Uncle Shook's favorites like our slow-cooked barbecue pork, juicy and tender beef brisket, and fall-off-the-bone smoked ribs. Add some of our made-from-scratch sides and you'll be a winner at the tailgate. Place an order online at UncleShooks.com. Go Eagles!
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
You choose the combination, and they'll cook it in their 500-degree brick oven in just a few minutes. Your own delicious pizza experience using only the freshest ingredients on hand-tossed dough and individually sized just for you. And that Eagle Nation is why they're called Your Pie, because it's all about you. The Your Pie in Statesboro and downtown Savannah is owned and operated by Joe Hunt, a Georgia Southern grad. So when you order your next pizza, be true blue and make it all about you. Go see Joe at Your Pie, and I guarantee it, you'll be glad you did.
University Store is built for game day. As the official store of Georgia Southern University, we have the largest selection of officially licensed hats, polos, tees, tanks, tumblers, signs, bobbleheads, and more. Every Eagle, young and old, can find their favorite Georgia Southern merchandise at our Armstrong and Statesboro campus stores. As part of the university, we support student success by investing our profits back into scholarships, facility improvements, and programs on each campus. Visit our stores today or shop 24/7 at gsustore.com.
You've trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Powered by Learfield, this is the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank.
Legs up, Eagle Nation! Touchdown, Georgia Southern!
Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Georgia Power is proud to be a partner with Georgia Southern Athletics. Eric Russell said that our offense is called the Georgia Power Company, and now Georgia Power would like to help you save on your power bill. Visit GeorgiaPower.com to learn more about becoming more energy efficient and saving with their handy energy efficiency tips. Back with Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented each week by Morris Bank. Georgia Southern football now 3-1 through 4 contests in the 2022 season. League play starts this Saturday up in Conway, South Carolina from Brooks Stadium. Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina on the surf turf. Chanticleers are 4-0 for the third consecutive year. Kick it off at 4. We'll be on at 2 o'clock on the Cutwater Spirits Tailgate Show. Question coming in on Twitter for Coach Helton. Defense tackled better and played really well in the fourth quarter. Anything specific you saw that helped elevate the defensive play in the end?
No, I thought the one thing that defensively we did a lot better in this game was the relentless effort to the ball and really gang tackling. You know, when you talked about Steele, he was a guy that it's hard getting him down one-on-one. 220-pound back, knows the art of contact, same foot, same shoulder, tacks half a man, always falls forward. We knew that we had to get multiple guys there. And I just thought there was a relentless pursuit to the ball. And really, when you looked at it, there was 2, 3, 4 guys bringing him down at a time. And when we had our one-on-one situations, one of the biggest ones of the night, Anthony Wilson in the backed-up situation, it's him and Steele. And that's it. And if he doesn't get him down, that ball's going for a long, long way. And instead of going a long way, you look up and it's 2nd and 9. And that was the one time that I really felt, oh, my goodness, we're in a one-on-one tackle situation. And I pointed it out in the team meeting. I said, way to hold on to that big horse, big horse. I mean, that was a Clydesdale horse running through those holes.
Another question coming in from Twitter. Drew asks, biggest keys for containing Grayson McCall on Saturday?
I'm going to tell you what a talented young man. Had the opportunity today to watch a lot of tape on him, and it is to see a guy that truly fits his system. A lead arm strength, can make all the throws on the field, knows how to do option football, can run himself. we'll see exactly where he is. He was taken out in the fourth quarter early in that with an ankle injury and didn't come back. We'll see. Knowing the competitor he is, I would bet that, he's going to be available. But he is just one of those special players that I think that you got to choose which one you're going to go with to try to stop. Is it that talented running game or is it the passing game that you do? And so you got to try to take away a strength. And the problem is that they have both strengths. They can throw just as well as they can run.
I'd like to tell you that Georgia Southern has all this history against Grayson McCall, but in the 2 years he's been in the league, haven't seen him. He was hurt in 2020. He was hurt last year. Georgia Southern has had to deal with Coastal's backups each of the last 2 campaigns, but there's been so much done on him. There has been so much film, so much discussion.
Yeah.
He's coming off of shoulder surgery in the offseason, but so far he has 13 combined touchdowns, and he's only turned it over once.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. You're looking at one of the better plus-minus turnover teams in the country right now. I think they're 14, 14 plus 14, which is incredible. They protect the football really well. And I've always said, you look at a good football team, it starts with the quarterback. And what he's been able to accomplish over the last 3 years, there's a reason that they're playing some of the best ball, not only in our conference but the country. Will be a great challenge for us in every aspect defensively, and will be a great challenge offensively to try to keep up with a potent offense that Coastal has.
Off of that, we'll take a question from Facebook. Lee asks, how does weather affect the preparation for this week, and what happens in preparation if time, day of game is changed?
Yeah, one of the things that you've seen in the last couple games has been the balance, really. Even last game, we were 40 passes, 40 runs. It was right on play. And so to be able to run the ball when we want to and when we need to is important because sometimes it's dictated on what the defense is playing. Are they drop 8? Are they playing coverage? Or is it raining sideways? And so if you can't run the ball, then you're going to have hard days. And sometimes your quarterback may be off, maybe having an off game. You've got to be an effective run team. And so you carry that each and every game. We as much as we study the pass, we study the run even harder, especially with the 3 running backs we got right now and how talented and how well they're playing. Probably the best room right now on our team as far as production.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because with all the focus being on the passing game and Kyle leading the league in passing yards, you're averaging about 50 attempts per game. The running back room is averaging better than 5.5 yards per carry. That's top 15 in the country, and that goes way down the list when you think about all the things that have been done from a passing standpoint. But whether it's been Gerald, Jalen, especially OJ, he just has such a boost off the bench when he comes in. That's been really valuable.
Yeah, they've been averaging anywhere from 160 to 210 yards per game, depending on the game. And that yards per carry and the explosiveness that they're creating has been great, and the amount of touchdowns. I think Gerald Green every week seems to find the end zone. So it's been great to be able to see that room. We knew it was going to be a productive room. We knew that they had to support Kyle and the wide receivers to make defenses, make a decision. Are you going to stop the pass game or are you going to stop the run game? And you look up, and we literally said walking into that game, if we could win the rushing battle and win the turnover battle, we didn't think there was any way we could lose.
Yeah.
And you look up, and we won the rushing battle 164 to 158, and we win the turnover battle 1-0. So it was something we were really proud of. I know we challenged our O-line, we challenged our backs, not that when we had equal boxes that they were going to make the most of it, and they did.
Justin Birdsong comes up with a decisive interception on Ball State's final drive, and I've enjoyed watching him play, getting to know him these last 5 years, somebody that's battled a number of injuries. He got back in the starting lineup this weekend. You play with an extra defensive back with Waylon playing a lot more in the box. But for somebody like that to make a play like that in a situation like that, you love it even more. Yeah,
definitely. He's worked so hard for his opportunity, and then you get in there and you make plays like that. That speaks volumes. We tell the kids all the time, you never know when your opportunities can come. You've got to prepare like a starter, whether it's injury or whether it's production. You get your opportunity, make the most of it. And, he is prepped for that opportunity. And, man, it was neat to see him make that play.
We'll come back after this timeout. We'll talk with Georgia Southern starting center Logan Langemeier, third year in the program, fifth-year senior overall. That'll be when we come back after this timeout. It's Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Here's to the fans who show up for the game, finding their spot, staking their claim, towing the trailers, hauling the gear. A tradition of tailgating that happens each year. And here's to the truck they drive, the Ford F-150 truck. Power your tailgate like never before with an available Pro-Power onboard generator. For great offers, see your local Ford dealer today. Not all models, trims, or features may be available. Contact your dealer for more information.
Optum Medical Center Tatnall, we know you're not yourself when even just one part of you is hurt. Optum Medical Center Tatnall in Reedsville provides Eagle Nation with the highest quality care in surgical, hospital, clinical, diagnostic, and therapeutic services. The physician-owned medical center has been named one of America's top 100 best hospitals for joint replacement and is a 5-star recipient for total hip replacement, total knee replacement, and spinal fusion surgery. For more information, visit OptumHealthSystem.com.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance. All without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
Hello, welcome to another bank. Please just say what you need help with.
Check my balance.
I heard pay a bill. Is that correct?
When you bank at Morris Bank, you won't be greeted with an automated response system or wonder if you're just another account number, because real relationships make community banking better. Morris Bank and Georgia Southern football were built on the same blue-collar mentality. And in Morris Bank, blue isn't just a part of our ad campaign, it's a part of our DNA. Morris Bank is proud to be the season presenting sponsor of Georgia Southern football. Bleed blue, bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Got my nachos, got my big TV, and my favorite chair. It's game time. But you know, the only thing that would make it a little better is if I could listen to my local broadcasters while watching the game.
Hello. You must have wished for your game to be synced with TV and radio.
I sure did.
Do you have a DVR?
You bet.
Do you have a streaming device?
Yeah.
Blammo! Your game is now synced. It's that easy.
Oh, boy.
To see if you can get synced, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield.
Syncmygame.com?
Syncmygame.com.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts, as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Ready now, 2nd and 3 at the 7. High snap, Ventry's play fake. He has an opening, throw right flat, caught. It's McAfee, inside the 5, breaks a tackle, goes to the pylon. Wings up, Eagle Nation, touchdown, Georgia Southern. First career touchdown for J.J. McAfee. Kyle Ventry's hooked up with J.J. McAfee with 7:04 left in the fourth quarter last Saturday for the game-winning touchdown. Added another one of 47 yards to Amari Jones just for good measure. 34-23 the victory on homecoming. Georgia Southern takes down Ball State in the first ever meeting between the teams. They're now 3-1 going to Coastal this weekend. Eagle football brought to you in part by Savannah Hilton International Airport and the Savannah Airport Commission. Visit them online at flysab.com before your next trip. We'll get Coach Helton back up during our final segment to preview those Chanticleers, but for now, talk with one of Georgia Southern's veteran offensive linemen, third year as a starter, transferring in from Jacksonville University, but now True Blue. Give it up for Logan Langemeier.
Thank you.
It's got to be nice knowing that the name of your position is exactly where you are on the field. So if somebody forgets, all they got to do is look in the center.
Yeah, it's not super difficult. So
we just talked about this with Coach Helton. For all the attention that the passing game has been getting under Kyle, the running game is 15th in the country in yards per carry, and that starts with the 5 of you guys up front. With 4 starters back, how have those relationships continued to evolve?
I didn't know that statistic, actually, so I'm excited to hear that. I think for us up front, the chemistry shows. We are doing a couple different things offensively, obviously with the passing game, and for us that chemistry I think is definitely showing. I have a young freshman next to me at left guard, Pishon Wembley, and he's been doing an absolutely great job. Trusting some of us old guys both on his left and right with Brian Miller and me. And
you are a couple old guys.
Yeah,
How's that guy?
Yeah, we got some old guys up there. But us 4, it was just a big chemistry thing. We came back. We knew we had to learn a new system and kind of new lingo. But other than that, it was back to the bread and butter and just do our jobs. So
you didn't come here as a freshman, but still, now it's your 3rd year here, in your 5th year as a college player, to look to your left and see somebody like Pishon, who is just starting his career. He started all 4 games. What kind of things do you try to teach him?
Yeah, that was actually a very interesting conversation after game 1. I asked him, I was like, hey, what year were you born? He said 2004 or 5, I think. And I looked at him, I said, oh, yeah, I really feel like an old man now. For him, though, I think Nebraska was a really big test for him.
Sure.
Of just, playing on a big stage like that. It can get intimidating, especially as a freshman, not coming from high school where you maybe play in front of a couple thousand fans, then now you're in front of 86,000 fans.
Yeah.
So for him, I just told him, I was like, hey, it's another Thursday. That's what I tell all the guys up front. It's just another Thursday. It's just like another walkthrough. Go out, execute, do your job. At the end of the day, we'll be all good. So, and for him, he's done, extremely great job, especially as a true freshman up there. So I'm proud of him.
O-line coach Richard Owens has come up a lot in conversation, whether it's been with Coach Helton, anybody else on the coaching staff, but for somebody that plays for him day in and day out, what kind of impact has he truly had on you personally and you guys as a group?
Yeah, I think when he first got here, it was learning not only the new playbook, but a new relationship with your offensive line coach. I think for center, I think it's really important to make sure we're thinking the same way. So when we have to come to the sideline, make adjustments, or going into a week like this, we can look at film and understand how we want to call things, how we want to see things on the field the same way. He expects a lot. He expects us to always, there's never a take back. You can never say, oh, I want that rep back again, because at that point, you could have lost the game. So he expects a lot out of us, but great coach, and love the man. So nothing bad to say about him. I really do appreciate him. So.
You talked about yourself being an older guy, Brian Miller being an older guy, but the guy that you snap to every play is a 6th-year senior, 24 years old, and Kyle Van Treese, and that's something that you don't get in college football a lot because of COVID. I guess that's been one of the positives that's resulted from a situation like that, but knowing that that's where your snaps end up every play, and somebody that's back there that has all that experience, what kind of impact does that have on the rest of the team?
I think it's calming, to be really frank about it. It was interesting. I think the other big relationship is between me and the quarterback. We want to be able to be on the same page, have the same thought process too when we see blitz coming or something like that. And we clicked right off the bat. And for him, being an old guy, it was just he came in and he knew up front we were going to protect him. We're going to do our jobs, and we're a whole bunch of old guys up front too. And so for me, and I know everyone up front, and I think him, it's always just a sense of calmness of, hey, we got each other. We know what we're doing. This isn't our first time in the rodeo, and yeah.
How much pride have you guys taken in the way that you protected him so far?
A lot. For us, a hit on the quarterback. We just gave up our first sack statistically, but for us, a hit on the quarterback or a pressure on the quarterback is too much for us.
Okay.
And for me personally, I gave up one hit against UAB, and for me, that's not acceptable. And I know up front, just the group of guys we have, Coach Owens, our job is, no one touches Kyle. And so for us, that's kind of the pridefulness we take for that.
We've talked with Coach Helton before about the third down numbers. This team, 61% on third down so far. That's fourth best in the country. The average third down length has been very good for a team that passes. It's right around 5 yards or so. But there's been a number of third downs of 8 or more that you guys seem to convert without much fanfare. There was the 3rd and 13 to Caleb last week. It goes for 16 yards. And it all goes back to the trust that we talked about with Coach and what we heard from Kyle during postgame last week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one thing you said about Kyle. He's a 6-year guy. He's 24 years old back there. He knows when he calls for the ball, we're going to do our very best to protect him every single play. And up front, too, we all look at each other and we give each other that look of, hey, max protection right now. We got to block our butts off and no one can touch Kyle. So
to know that this is the start of league play, it begins with Coastal Carolina, a team that since the start of 2020 has been really one of the darlings of the country. 11 wins that year, co-champions in the league, 11 more wins last year. They're off to a 4-0 start. How do you guys view this game? Is this just the next game, or is there a little bit more to it because it is the start of league play?
I think it's another game for us. We got to go 1-0 on the week. At the end of the day, that's all it is. For me personally, I played 2020 was my first year playing on the teal turf there, and
what'd you think of that?
It was different.
It was different.
It was different. But now going back there, playing with the guys next to me for 3 years now. I'll see most of the guys that I'm playing against in conference for my 3rd year now too.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a game of old man. It's going to be a game of execution and making your one-on-one battle win. But conference does mean a little bit more.
You've been very active as a student athlete, and I say that specifically student athlete because of your time with SAC. You've been a presenter in the Guspies. What does it mean to you to have that impact on the student side in addition to being a 3-year starter in your sport?
Yeah, I think it's unique. I think that student athlete side is something that sometimes not everyone understands, not everyone sees just because of what we are doing on Saturdays. And so for me, that student side is important because eventually, hopefully not anytime soon, but I will have to hang up the cleats eventually. And so that's the day where I don't want to have to worry about what am I doing after hanging up the cleats now. I want to be able to have that solid foundation there from school and my degree and now my master's degrees. So.
Well, considering the NIL deal that you and the rest of your offensive linemen got last week, you need to make sure this season goes as long as possible.
Yeah, no, Bubba's doing a great job over there, Butts and Brews. Great food, great barbecue, and he's taking care of us over there, so it's much appreciated.
Logan, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on all the success the last 3 years so far this year. Best of luck going forward.
Thank you.
5th-year senior center Logan Langemeier. One more segment. We'll talk with head coach Clay Helton after this timeout. Turn the page. It's Georgia Southern. It's Coastal Carolina. The start of Sun Belt play. We'll talk about it next from Wild Wing Cafe on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Is slow internet slowing you down? Having trouble connecting to all your technology needs? Bullock Solutions has the solution for you. With a 100% fiber optic high-speed network, Bullock Solutions provides modern services with the latest technologies available in the industry. Need security options for your new home? Bullock Solutions has got you covered with state-of-the-art video surveillance and smart technology to give you the peace of mind you deserve. Bullock Solutions has internet and technology packages to meet every need. Visit us at bullock.solutions today.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts. Power packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste. Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanut, get your peanut.
You understand that it's not just grand gestures that can change someone's life. It's consistency, doing the same thing every day for a long, long time. At Georgia Southern, we believe it's you, our annual giving donors, doing more than just impacting the bottom line. You're impacting students filled with big dreams and the desire to change the world. Our mission is to make them ready to make those dreams real, and your gift makes it possible. Because of you, they are ready. Visit georgiasouthern.edu/give to make a difference.
For many years, you've heard that Knox knocks them out. Well, that's because it's true. The Knox family has been serving yours for over 85 years. Just like the Eagles on the field, the Knox experts respond with speed. In addition to their soon as possible, same or next day service, your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed with pest, termite, mosquito, wildlife, and bed bug control. To learn more about how Knox knocks them out, head over to knoxpest.com or call 877-KNOX-PEST.
You need the best players. You need to keep them safe. And if they do get injured, you need the best occupational medicine services available to make sure that they're back in the game for you and your business. This is Leonard Bevel from Macon Occupational Medicine, and that's exactly what we've been doing for business and industries throughout Georgia since 1990. We outperform others by getting injured workers back to work quicker while maintaining the highest levels of customer satisfaction. The health of your business may depend on us. We're Macon Occupational Medicine.
Talent inspired. Hi, this is Terry Harvin, and I firmly believe that those are two words that should describe your company's starting lineup of employees. If they don't, then you need to reach out to my friends at Select Source Staffing. Talent inspired since 1997, Select Source is owned by a proud Georgia Southern grad. They're solution-minded and truly understand that no two companies and no two employees are the same. So whether you're looking to hire someone or you're searching for a new opportunity for yourself, explore Select Source and check out their postings at selectsource.com.
Powered by Learfield, this is the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank.
Legs up, Eagle Nation! Touchdown, Georgia Southern!
Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's return live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Less than 10 minutes left in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, presented each week by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. Sun Belt Conference play has begun for a couple of teams across the league. Just ask Appalachian State about that one. But Georgia Southern heading to Conway this weekend. Matchup, big one, East Division. Georgia Southern and Coastal Carolina will kick it off at 4 o'clock from Brooks Stadium. Cutwater Spirits tailgate show begins at 2 with Frank, Terry, and Russ. And Georgia Southern will try to snap a 2-game skid against the Chanticleers up on the surf turf. And we've already talked a little bit about Grayson McCall, about how they've had back-to-back 11-win seasons. That program has just jumped onto the national scene ever since the COVID year of 2020. But examining that film, what else stands out besides Grayson McCall?
An opportunistic defense.
Okay.
You know, you're talking about one of the best turnover teams in the country right now. One, protecting the football, but also, you know, they're plus 14 on defense right now of getting turnovers. Did a great job in the Georgia State game. I thought their secondary of knocking balls out, targeting the ball, and you look up, and that was a game that really got separation because of those turnovers. So we've got to do a great job this week. Try to do what we did last week, which have no turnovers, really give nothing, play a really clean game, both penalty and turnover-wise, because this is a defense that is a little bit different than last year. A lot more odd structures, a lot more ability to zone pressure from boundary, from field, from interior, as well as drop 8, which we've seen a bunch this year already. So they're very multiple and very aggressive and very opportunistic as far as the turnovers go.
This doesn't seem like an offense that wants to be patient with as many points as you can score and as many yards as you can rack up, but with so many teams dropping 8 in coverage and forcing you to pick your spots, how does that preach patience to be selective about how you need to attack?
Yeah, definitely. You know, you are able to move the chains, and that's what we did the other week. You know, one of the things you look for when you play in drop 8 is to be able to get to third and manageable, third and shorts. And you look at us at each game, and you look at the third down efficiency. I think it's one of the top 5 in the country right now as far as third down efficiency. We're moving the chains. We're staying patient until we finally make you come up, just like it happened the other night on Saturday, as we finally got the safeties to come up, and then what happens? You get Derwin with a post over top of their head. You know, so you got to be able to take what the defense gives you, and if they decide, hey, we're going to play back, we're going to make you go the long way, that's fine. We'll come and be patient, get 500 yards, and score the points that are needed to win the ball game.
We just brought it up with Logan that Georgia Southern is 61% on third down. That's fourth best in the country. But you converted 40 times just on third down this year. That's number 2 nationally. Minnesota's converted 41 times. That's basically 10 times per game you're making a third down conversion. So it's one thing to get to those situations, but this offense seems to be at its best when it has to be at its best.
Yeah, definitely. To win the third down battle, you always say you got to be good on first and second.
Right.
And so when you look at us right now, we're not getting in a ton of third and longs. They've all been, third and 6 and less, a bunch of them. And so when you have that and you have a group of wide receivers that are playing at such a high level right now and the ability to run the football and not scared to run the football, you saw it again in this game. We don't mind handing it off on third and long because we know our backs can make some explosive runs. To be able to have both those weapons has really helped us. And so it's been good to be good on first down and second down, to be able to create those third and shorts and be able to be efficient. And it's really kept our drivers' lives. And as those drives keep alive, guess what happens? Play count goes up, and all of a sudden you got another 80-plus play game.
The last couple of weeks, a lot of the conversation with your defense is centered around tackling, making plays at the line of scrimmage, not giving up the chunk play, populating the football, getting a lot of guys to the ball. But something you did really well against Ball State, you guys broke a lot of tackles, whether it was Gerald, Amari, OJ. We talked about them a little bit earlier. You guys broke 24 tackles last week. And I think about the one Jalen broke 3 by himself on the 12-yard run right after the quarterback sneak during that last drive before Amari scored the touchdown. It's being able to make statement plays like that where if you slip up, it's going to hurt you if you're the opposing defense.
Yeah, definitely. I think Matt told me right after the game, he always calculates yard after contact, and the rushing yards, 92% of the rushing yards in this last game came after contact.
Wow.
So, just an unbelievable stat for our runners. And not only them, but our receivers, too. I think about the play that Amari Jones makes on 3rd and 8. He's one-on-one with a defender. It's 23-20, and he makes that kid miss and makes him miss and gets the first down. Instead of having to kick a field goal there, we're able to now be able to go play action, get it to JJ for a touchdown, and that created separation. So really proud of our kids and the job they're doing after the catch and after contact.
Glad you brought him up because he actually set a career high with those 7 catches last week. 94 yards is the most he has had as an Eagle. He went over 1,000 yards career receiving last week. Kyle Van Treese goes over 6,000 career passing yards. He went over 5,000 earlier this season against Morgan State. He's leading the league with 1,290 yards through the air. But to see Amari have the kind of impact he has so far, how's that permeated the rest of the offense?
Yeah, what a vet, what a pro. Shows up every day, and he's one of those guys. Derwin's the same way. Jeremy is, Caleb. They only have one gear. I swear, every time I watch them practice, they practice exactly like they play. Everything is full speed. Everything is precise. If they don't do it right, they do it again. They're just a group. Those 4 guys have been as pro-veteran group as I've ever seen, and really proud of them. So proud for Amari on that last touchdown catch to end the game. Really, really proud for him. Here's a kid that chose to come back, that chose to say, you know what, Coach, I want to go through this with you and this group of teammates, and so really neat to see for him.
We know that Hurricane Ian has plans for the southeastern part of the country. We don't know exactly what it's going to do over the next couple of days. The plan would usually be to get out of here on Friday to go to Conway to play a conference road game. It's only about a 4-hour trip up to the Grand Strand. But how much do you have to play weatherman over the next 24 to 48 hours so you can figure out exactly how you're going to get out of here?
Well, we do it every week. Every week. It was so nice last week. I don't know of a better college football day you could possibly have in Statesboro, Georgia than that game with all our fans, and that weather is just picturesque. But the football gods sometimes go the other way too, and so this may be one of those games that you have a little adversity weather-wise, and as we say, handle the adversity, the mental toughness that you have to not let the outside factors cause any lack of execution is imperative when you're trying to win championships. And here's our test, and it may It may be blowing sideways. The rain may be coming, but we still have to be effective in our offensive defensive schemes.
Coach, thanks as always for the time each week. Good luck getting to 1-0 overall and in conference play. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate it. Hail Southern.
That's head coach Clay Helton. Special thank you to men's soccer head coach John Murphy, offensive lineman Logan Langemeier. Sunbelt play starts for the Eagles on Saturday up in Conway, South Carolina. Georgia Southern and Coastal. 4 o'clock kickoff. We're on the air at 2 p.m. right here on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Been listening to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.